Red Voyage News, splashing the check-in. Thank you for tuning in. And I have right here an article. Man who pushed 91-year-old in Oakland, Chinatown assaults two others right after. All right. The reason why I'm talking about this is because a lot of people in the Asian community are up in arms when in actuality, this is just an isolated incident. And their talking points are, oh, we're always being attacked. You know, the racism against us, it's ongoing. The skyrocketing number of hate crimes against Asians, it has to stop. Like, man, there are no record numbers of Asians being attacked. This is an isolated incident. And this article right here proves it. So, and basically they're using black people as a guinea pig. So there was a black man who was either mentally unstable or he was high, and he just went on and pushed three elderly people down. They didn't identify the race of the two other people that he pushed down, but they don't care about that. They only care about this man being pushed down. All right. So I'm going to play the video footage of this guy pushing him. He just pushed him down. Okay. I'm not sure if he lived through this. I'm not sure. And the warning goes on to say 20 plus robbery assault incidents in the neighborhood, according to the Chinatown Chamber president. Now, mind you, most of these robberies and assaults are not from black people. These are Asians doing this to other Asians. All right. The majority of these crimes. Now, I don't know anything about this area in the Oakland area. We've lived next to Chinatowns before in the past. And when I was living in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, there's a Chinatown downtown. And I used to see the cops go through there quite often. And when I would find out the stories, it was Asians harming other Asians. This right here is an isolated incident. The 91-year-old man was walking on the sidewalk when the suspect wearing a black hoodie and face mask approached and shoved him. The elderly man suffered injuries and was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. Then it goes on to say the suspect reportedly approached two other victims shortly after the first attack, resulting in one of them losing consciousness, according to the Oakland Police Department statement. The suspect then approached a 60-year-old man and a 55-year-old woman from behind that were also walking in the 800 block of Harrison Street. The suspect pushed both victims to the ground, resulting in the woman losing consciousness. The man also suffered injury. Both victims were treated at a local hospital for their injuries. Now, they never identified the race of those two individuals. They were probably a married couple. I don't know. They never identified the race of those two people. Everybody's just focused on him pushing down this Asian man because the other two, the other two people that he pushed down was probably not on video. I'm not sure. It might have been on video. They just don't want to show it. They got cameras all over the place, but they don't want to show him pushing down the other two people, probably because that's not the narrative they want to frame. The narrative they want to frame is Asians are being attacked. You know, forget the Akai girlies, forget the Peter Liangs and Latasha Harlings. Forget all these Asian store owners that have been beating up black women for decades. Forget that one. What was that? There was a story in Alabama a few years back where in a predominantly black area, these black people were going to this man's restaurant, patronizing his business, and the woman came back and complained that there was a roach. There was a roach in the egg roll. So she's like, hey, there's a roach in the egg roll. And then he pulled out a pistol and started shooting at her and missed. This right here, this was in 2014. Alabama Chinese restaurant owner shoots at customer who complained of a bug in her egg roll. You know, I could go on and on and on. All the Africans that were put out in the street over in mainland China. I used to live in mainland China. Okay, I know how racist it is. They often told me at places when I was trying to get a job, like, no blacks, no blacks, no blacks. We don't want no blacks. Their favorite word, I mean, they love using that N-word out there when I was in China. Now, we know this man's ethnic makeup. You know, he's Asian, but, you know, nationality-wise, we don't know. We're assuming he's Chinese. Now, there's a man, and they said, you know, the suspect described to be 20 to 30 years old, African-American male, 5'6", 5'10", and he should be arrested. I'm not saying he should not be. He should be arrested, but, you know, you got people, this actor right here, Daniel Dae Kim. He says a skyrocketing number of hate crimes against Asian Americans continue to grow despite our repeated pleas for help. The crimes ignored and even excused. Remember, and let me tell you something. The only reason why he's going on and on about this and they keep on framing this narrative is because the president, the new president of the United States, signed an executive order giving handouts, resources, and benefits to Asian Americans who are suffering from hate crimes and racism. I'm like, I don't, how? You guys have your own, you're sectioned off from everybody. You have your own communities that you close off from everybody. You don't allow people to really come into your communities and just move wherever they want. You have your own blocks. I used to live in Houston, Beechnut, Bissonnette, Bel Air. There's a section over there that it's all Chinatown. You as a black person, white person, whatever, you can't just move over there. You have your own economy. On average, the average Asian household is the highest. The income is the highest out of any race in America. For the most part, you spend your money with each other. Sure, there are people who kind of, they walk past, or they might make a few purchases within your community, but this is an isolated incident. This isn't something that happens every single day. And they take an isolated incident like this, and then they want to magnify it and say, you see, this is how we're being treated. And it's like, okay, this is terrible. This is terrible. But this isn't something that happens every day. And this person was clearly out of their minds. And this isn't something that we promote in our community. We're not trying to pay off Asian politicians to say, oh, you're using this guy right here as a scapegoat like you did for Peter Liang and Akai Gurley. All these Asian beauty supply stores, just recently out there on the West Coast, what is that, in Compton or South Central somewhere? There was an Asian store owner who beat up a few black women, and, rightfully so, the black people in that neighborhood got them up out the neighborhood. And the thing is I went to his page. I had a few words for him. This was like my third tweet that I sent him. I said, let's go even further. I've been to Seoul, South Korea 5 times. I've seen all the homeless people that are high around Seoul Station and around the city, fighting next to the station, pushing each other down, calling upon, the death of your next door neighbor. I took this picture in Korea. I took this picture in 2017. November of 2017, I took this picture. It was this is right next to Seoul Station. Up the street from, no, it's not right next. It's next to City Hall. I take that back. It's next to City Hall. I took this picture, and this was at some peace rally, a Christian peace rally. I was like, whoa, right? I've been to Seoul 5 times. This guy's Korean. I've seen all the homelessness in Seoul, South Korea. All the human trafficking that's in Seoul, South Korea. All these people that just hang around on the street, elderly people or mentally unstable people, there are people who kidnap them and take them over to Jeju Island, or some of these different islands that are around Korea, the Korean islands, and they force people to work on salt farms. Look that up. All these loan sharks that go to high schools and they give people these astronomical number, they give people these loans, kids under the age of 18, these loans that hit them with crazy interest rates that they can't afford to pay back. You got grown men who are violent that go to these high schools saying, hey, where's my money? You owe me this. You owe me that. They'll get at your family. They do that, but that should be illegal, but they do that over there. I've seen people, I've seen men and women argue, fighting, men pushing women down, punching women out there at a Christian, because, every time you step out of Seoul Station, when you go to the left, they have they got chairs set up, speakers, and, they have, banners of Jesus, and, they're doing their little praise and worship or whatever. Every once in a while, I walk past and I've seen people arguing. I'm like, isn't this supposed to be in the name of God? Like the man going off on a woman, pushing. I've seen that a couple of times. What else did I? And basically, I don't even have to show you the other tweet because I've already said this in the video. Then he shared another incident where there's a teen facing murder pleas, not guilty in death of elder Antoine Watson held an attack on an 84-year-old victim. I think this is another guy, 19 years old, resident of Daly City. Where is that? With the death of an 84. Yeah, he just pushed down another. Is this the same person? Was okay, this was the other guy was Thai. Ratana Pakdi was originally from Thailand. According to a GoFundMe page from his family, the fundraiser was collected more than 30,000 after the surveillance video of the. So is this the same person? Is this the same person? Is this who they're talking about? Or were those two different incidents? I mean, that's sad. Don't get me wrong, but this isn't happening every day where people are attacking people in Asian society in droves. No. Dude, stop it. Knock it off. $25,000. Knock it off. All right. You guys own everything. Can this be a growing concern? Sure, because it happened back to back. If this was the same person, then this was an isolated incident. If those were two different incidents, those were two isolated incidents. And then when you look down, I've seen this also. Asians are human justice for Vicha. 84-year-old Asian man killed by a teenager in San Francisco. So I think this was the same one. All right. What do you mean? Like, he was arrested. Usually when you say justice for somebody, it's because justice was not served. They just couldn't find him. They were searching for him. They didn't know who he was and protect him. They did not know who he was, and they were searching for him. Okay. And let me tell you something. I used to live in Thailand. Do you know how racist it is over there? People are talking about, oh man, it's a land of smiles. Man, let me tell you something. They'll smile when you got your money in your hand, your wallet out, your money in your hand. As soon as you give them the money, it's like, hey, fuck off. That's how they are. Oh, and they love the N-word out there too. Oh, they love that. Love that. Skin whitening creams everywhere. No black. We don't want no blacks up in here. No black. But you're a black man. No black. A black, stay away from my. Nope. You know, I went to school with Thais in Thailand. You sit in an area and then everybody doesn't sit nowhere near you. You're like, no, nah, we're not sitting next to him. He's black. And then it's like, what kills me is you got a Korean person who is calling for the reward of somebody who's Thai. I'm like, dude, do you know how Koreans treat Thais in Korea? There are a lot of Koreans who sent Thais back home to Thailand. They had all their documents and they were like, no, we just don't want you in our country. No, we just didn't like how you were dressed. Man, I need to do a whole video talking about this. Asians do. I mean, it's not like they're super violent towards each other, but they don't rock with each other like that. Let me show you something. Migrants in Thailand face racism amid new coronavirus outbreak. So a lot of people, like the neighboring countries, Cambodia, Laos, you know, they come over and they work in these factories in Thailand. I know because I used to live there. I've seen them. And a lot of them, they were racially discriminating against them. Well, you know, you could say, you know, xenophobia, but instead of them taking the blame, saying that, you know, we're not taking certain precautions that we need to be taking because of COVID, they just blamed it on the Cambodians and they're like, you know, get up out of here. You know, Cambodians and Laos. And look what this says. Wherever you see Myanmar, people shoot them down, wrote another Thai commentator on YouTube. So people from Myanmar, Burma. So I'm not lying, dude. Like, I mean, even before COVID, man, do you know how people that were Thai and Philippines, you know, that were being treated in Japan? Do you know how people from Vietnam treated in China? And, you know, man, don't even get me started. Like, we're going down a deep rabbit hole. And so why are you offering a reward as if this happens? Like, people just attacking. I'm like, you attack each other. And they say the same thing about us. And Okay, cool. Okay, cool. But African Americans for many years, we was on that, Pan-Africanism. You see what I'm saying? We was all about Pan-Africanism. Out here, it's they have what's called the ASEAN organization, ASEAN. So it's like a chambers of commerce for Asian people. And really it's only developed because you have a lot of Asians who move to different countries out here. Okay. For example, in Thailand, and, the Thais, but that's the culture all around out here. They only mess with their own people. They do not hang out with and do business with people outside of their community like that. They do not even become friends with people outside of their community like that. So a lot of other people from other nationalities, they feel left out. So they create ASEAN organization. So that way, if you're from Burma, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Korea, you can join, Indonesia, you can join. And it's kind of like, okay, you can mix and mingle and possibly do business with each other since the local people aren't doing business with you. And they have that in every country out here. So, so this right here, isolated incident, these are people that are trying to cape for more handouts, more benefits, more resources. Okay. The president already signed that executive order and they want more. That's what it is. And it's kind of like, what more do you want? You already have a Korean town. You already have a Chinatown. You already have your restaurants, your schools, your businesses, your housing, everything. What more do you want? I mean, how much more do you want? You got all these entertainers and black folks just spending millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars with Asians every single day. Jewelry, food, clothes. And it's not even, and let's be honest, it's not even good quality. All right. So, I mean, jewelry, do you really need that? The food, like the clothes, do you really, hey, that's neither here nor there. Like, subscribe, comment, share this video. Let me know what you think down below. Peace.